Okay, so I know we're here to talk about Angelo Weems. There's a huge update. Pretty crazy update, actually. But for those of you who don't know who Angelo Weems is, I'm going to play a few clips from his previous Zoom court hearings before we get to the meat and potatoes of why we're actually here.
All right, Mr. Weems, you are, as you know, entitled to be represented by an attorney. And I think I would not be alone in telling you that that is your best course of action. I hear that you do not want to accept an appointed attorney or to hire an attorney on your own. Is that true?
No, I'm here as intervener and authorized representative for Angelo Weems.
I couldn't understand anything you said, sir.
Said I'm here as intervener and as authorized representative for Angelo Weems.
All right, so we've kind of known the further in the rabbit hole you get in the sovereign citizen lifestyle, the more you're likely to lash out in violence. You know, foreshadowing for the end of the video. Now we're going to show the next clip where the prosecutor just says, we want a warrant because we don't know if this guy's actually Angelo Weems or not. And he tries to, I just said I'm specially appearing. It's all bullshit.
Your Honor, just for a court's perspective, as I don't know who the author of the letter was. It is signed Angelo Weems, but
Your Honor, Angelo Weems, specially appearing.
I'm going to assume that the letter was not an offer to pay in any kind of manner or any offer to provide anything of value to the prosecutor's office in return for a lack of prosecution. I'm going
He's
to
not
make
allowed to speak to me. He's not my attorney.
assumption that Mr. Weems would not be trying to bribe the government in any kind of way. So I'm not aware of what we would do with that, as I want to look at it as it is not an offer to provide something of value to the prosecutor's office, as that would be illegal. So I'm gonna say that that is not what that was for, and leave it that it is something that the people are unable to understand or ascertain the veracity of those statements, but the people would stand on our request for a bench warrant, Your Honor, since Mr. Weems is not present.
I heard you. I will issue a bench warrant.
All right, so he got the warrant, ended up coming back later in that Zoom hearing, kind of groveling, not wanting the warrant, admitted he was him and wanted to represent himself. They helped him out as best they could. Now, we're going to jump to the meat and potatoes, why we're all here. So I found this on We Got a Case, who looks like they got it from Credence and Mikey. Again, I'm from this area. I had no idea about this, but I found it yesterday, thought it was hilarious, decided to bring it to you guys. So we're going to pick it up about 6 minutes and 30 seconds into the 13-minute video. Enjoy.
Is Angelo Weems.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ashley Lonnie for the people.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Robert J. Kilwall, presently Angelo's attorney.
All right. I have from you, let's deal with this first. I have your motion to withdraw in the matter. Go ahead, sir.
No, that's correct, Your Honor. Mr. Weems doesn't feel like I'm doing the proper job for him. The communication's pretty much stopped. I wish him well on his future case, but he does not want me on the case.
So Mr. Weems doesn't think his attorney is doing his job effectively enough to probably get him out of these charges. What charges, you ask? Well, cool story here. Yeah, allegedly he unalived someone. Let me see here, get the date. Wednesday, June 28th at 11:15 p.m. Sheriff deputies were originally called to the area on reports of shots fired and a man down. When they got there, Mr. Darian Taylor, who was 30, they rendered aid. He passed because of his injuries. And our boy, Angelo Weems, 34, was arraigned at the 14A District Court before Judge Alicia Fink. I'm pretty sure we've all seen Fink at some point in these videos. So he was charged with open murder, carrying a concealed weapon, possession of a firearm by a felon, possession of ammunition by a felon, and felony firearm in relation to the shooting. So yeah, Mr. Weems is not having a good time. We're going to finish out the rest of this video. that's really the update, but we're going to keep going.
Mr. Weems, is that correct, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right, I will grant the motion to withdraw. Sign that one, and then there is having granted that, actually, I'm signing 2 orders, but that would mean that the assigned council manager has selected Erica Julian to represent the defendant.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Erica Julian, now appearing on behalf of Mr. Weems.
So I have defendant's motion for bond at this time, and that was filed, I believe, by Mr. Killowald. Would you be prepared to go forth on that bond motion, or you want me to put this out so that you have time to prepare and talk to Mr. Weems?
I would prefer the latter, Your Honor. I did receive a preliminary police report, so I could at least briefly meet with Mr. Weems yesterday. And we were able to have that meeting. We did have a conducive meeting. We had a good report to begin with. And but there's a great deal of discovery that I have yet to receive. And I think that that would be important to have before going forward with the bond motion. So I'd be asking to put that off, as well as an adjournment for about a month, about 4 weeks out, just because I understand that there are about 85 videos that I would need to download and review, as well as receive a medical examiner's report, additional discovery from Mr. Killowald. There's just a great deal going on.
Any response on any of that from the people?
Your Honor, it does seem to make sense that Ms. Julian would need some time to get caught up in the case. I will let Ms. Julian and the court know that the co-defendant, Ms. Williamson, is currently scheduled for preliminary examination on October the 10th before Judge Burke.
All right, and what they're talking about now is Regina Williamson, who was 31, was arraigned July 3rd by Magistrate Fink, shout out to you, on 6 charges in connection with the June unaliving. She was charged with 1 count of accessory after the fact to a felony, assault with a dangerous weapon, felony firearm, assault and battery, and 2 counts of carrying a concealed weapon. All those are felonies except for the assault and battery. But yeah, it was connected in where is it? The same thing as our friend Angelo Weems. So yeah,
It would of course be the desire of the people to hopefully do 1 preliminary examination between these 2 defendants. So I don't have a objection to the request for adjournment. My request would be if we could maybe consider a shorter adjournment for the probable cause conference, perhaps to the 21st, if the court's willing, and then schedule the preliminary examination for October the 10th. And I will do everything I can to make sure Ms. Julian has all the information.
Do you think that would work for you, Ms. Julian? And maybe that's the wise way to go. That way you could meet with Mr. Weems, discuss what you can discuss, and then we would still have a little bit of room in there if we needed to before the 10th comes around.
I do understand, Your Honor. I know that the co-defendant is charged with being an accessory, and Mr. Weems is charged with the homicide itself, and that there's been investigation done, as well as additional investigation that may need to occur. So it's difficult for me, without having everything now, to guess whether or not it would be ample time or adequate time to be ready to go on a homicide prelim on October 10th.
Well, here's the other option. And what I'm going to do is this. I think I'm going to put it out to the 28th. And then what we can do at that point is figure out where you are, and maybe even loop Judge Burke into the conversation, so that maybe he might put the other one off a little bit to allow everybody to be together, if that were what was going to happen.
That works, Your Honor. Thank you.
And Your Honor, the only difficulty is, unfortunately, I'm not available on the 28th. So if Ms. Julian, if you do want that date, it will be another prosecutor covering. Otherwise, we could look at the 5th, knowing that the idea may be to go ahead and move to an exam 5 days after that. I just want to do the best to consider this. the court knows that this matter's been pending for some time. The people have
Yes.
never objected to an adjournment from the defense. But unfortunately, with having the two folks going, we do sort of need to move this case along as well.
All right. So let's do this. I'll adjourn the probable cause to the 5th of October. That's actually that 30-day range you were looking for it anyway, Miss Julian,
Yes, Your Honor.
at 9. Well, yeah, the problem is, at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to deny without prejudice the motion for bond, so that if you seek to raise it again, you may. That way I can put it in the 9 o'clock block and do it that way, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then we can look at that, and then we can always try to work with Judge Burke to just in terms of scheduling and time and the like. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Erica, I have the lab report regarding the death, and I have a pretty big thumb drive. I'll drop off at your office tomorrow.
That sounds great. Thank you, Mr. Killawald.
Thanks.
Okay, you got all that, Mr. Weems?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. So this bond will continue as denied at this point. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So that's basically all I could find with a real quick search over lunch on a Monday. I'll keep digging into this because this is actually really close to my house, so I would like to know more, Starship Trooper style.
Would you like to know more?
But yeah, hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day. Peace.